Good morning. It's January 27th, 2026, and as the sun rises over Europe, the world outside is transformed into a landscape of shimmering frost and icy breath. The streets are quieter than usual, as people brace themselves for another day in the heart of winter's most intense chapter yet. Across the continent, winter's grip is unmistakable. From the bustling cities to the smallest rural villages, a thick blanket of snow and ice has settled in, making daily routines a challenge and turning familiar places into winter wonderlands. People shuffle along slippery sidewalks, bundled in layers, their breath visible in the frigid air. Weather maps this morning are a patchwork of swirling storms and deep blues, each symbol telling a story of plunging temperatures and relentless snowfall. Satellite images reveal a continent almost entirely cloaked in white, with storm systems spinning across the skies. Meteorologists point to the maps, highlighting areas where snow is falling at record rates and where the cold is biting hardest. This isn't just a typical cold snap. Europe is in the midst of a series of powerful, interconnected weather events. From the storm-lashed coasts of Ireland, where waves crash against frozen rocks, to the snow-blanketed fields of Germany, the entire continent is feeling the impact. The countryside, usually green and rolling, is now a vast expanse of white under a brooding, stormy sky. Over the past week, a relentless parade of Atlantic storms has battered the region, bringing not just snow, but fierce winds and driving rain. Coastal towns have faced flooding and power outages, while inland, communities are digging out from snowdrifts that grow higher by the hour. Now, a major named storm, Storm Chandra, has taken center stage, dominating the north with its ferocity and leaving a trail of disruption in its wake. High above, the polar vortex is behaving in ways that have surprised even seasoned scientists. This swirling mass of cold air, usually locked in the Arctic, has dipped far south, driving wild weather patterns and setting the stage for what could be one of the most memorable winters in recent history. The jet stream, too, is weaving an unpredictable path, steering storms and cold air across the continent. The contrast across Europe is striking. In the north, people are shoveling out from under feet of snow, schools are closed, and travel is treacherous. Meanwhile, in southern Europe, the weather is milder but no less unsettled. Rain falls steadily, rivers swell, and winds whip through city streets. It's a tale of two winters, with each region facing its own unique challenges. In the next sections, we'll break down the path of Storm Chandra, explore the fascinating science behind the polar vortex, and share practical tips on how to stay safe and prepared during this extreme winter. We'll hear from experts who are tracking these systems in real time and learn what to expect in the days ahead. So, grab a warm drink, settle in, and join us as we dive into the story of a continent united by winter's fury and the resilience of those facing it head-on. The main character in Europe's weather story is Storm Chandra, a bomb cyclone that exploded in intensity as it swept in from the Atlantic. Chandra's rapid pressure drop unleashed fierce winds and heavy precipitation, pulling Arctic air south and dumping snow across northern Europe. Its path cuts through densely populated areas, making its impact widespread and disruptive. With the ground already cold and saturated, flooding and power outages are a real risk. Meteorologists tracked Chandra for days, giving crucial lead time for preparations. As it moves east, Chandra remains the dominant force on the European weather map. Storm Chandra's ferocious winds are hammering northern Europe, especially the UK and Ireland, with gusts up to 80 mph along coasts. Inland, winds of 50 to 60 mph are causing travel chaos and power risks, while the North Sea coasts brace for flooding from storm surges. Authorities are closing sea defenses and urging people to stay indoors. Across the region, travel is treacherous, bridges closed, trains delayed, airports disrupted. The storm's energy is driving rain, snow, and massive waves, making daily life hazardous. For millions, today is about hunkering down and waiting out nature's fury. While coasts battle wind, inland areas, especially Germany, are buried under heavy snow from Chandra's Arctic air. Some regions have seen up to 20 centimeters overnight, turning commutes into nightmares and isolating smaller communities. Roads are treacherous, with accidents and gridlock as snowplows struggle to keep up. The weight of wet snow threatens power lines, and blizzard conditions reduce visibility to near zero. Scotland, northern England, and Scandinavia are also hit, compounding travel woes. The snow's beauty is overshadowed by the disruption it brings to daily life. Chandra's wind and snow have left thousands without power across the UK, Ireland and Germany, as trees and heavy snow bring down lines. Repair crews face tough conditions, and some may be without electricity for days, impacting heating, cooking and communication. Airports are gridlocked with cancellations, railways are blocked, and roads are impassable. The economic cost is mounting as deliveries stall and businesses close. This storm is a stark reminder of our vulnerability to nature's power. Authorities urge, check travel updates, expect delays, and avoid journeys unless absolutely necessary. Sometimes the safest choice is to stay put. Beyond Chandra, there's an even more powerful force shaping Europe's winter this year, the infamous polar vortex. While storms like Chandra grab headlines, it's the vast invisible machinery of the atmosphere that truly sets the stage for extreme weather events across the continent. The polar vortex is a gigantic, swirling mass of frigid air that usually remains tightly wound above the Arctic Circle, acting like a cold air reservoir. But this winter, the vortex has weakened, its boundaries becoming unstable. As a result, icy Arctic air has spilled southward, surging into Europe and fueling the continent's deep freeze. This isn't just a cold snap. It's a dramatic shift in the atmospheric balance, with consequences that ripple far beyond the Arctic itself. Chandra, the storm currently battering Europe, is now colliding with one of these cold lobes. This interaction is intensifying the storm's power, making snowfall heavier, winds stronger, and temperatures even more biting. It's a perfect example of how the polar vortex can amplify local weather, turning an ordinary winter storm into a major event. Meteorologists are closely monitoring the upper atmosphere for signs of a sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW, a rare but powerful phenomenon where temperatures high above the North Pole suddenly spike by tens of degrees. This event can disrupt the polar vortex, sending shockwaves through the atmosphere and altering weather patterns across the northern hemisphere. When an SSW occurs, it can shatter the polar vortex, splitting it into smaller, wandering pieces. These fragments can then drift south, dragging Arctic air with them and unleashing dramatic weather changes, sometimes leading to prolonged cold spells, heavy snow, or even sudden thaws in unexpected places. The effects of a sudden stratospheric warming aren't immediate. It can take a week or two for the atmospheric chaos above to translate into dramatic shifts on the ground. But when it does, Europe could see a rapid transformation. Temperatures plunging, snowstorms intensifying, and weather patterns becoming far more unpredictable. Today's storm is just the beginning. The real story is unfolding miles above us, in the stratosphere, where invisible forces are setting the stage for what could be a wild and unpredictable February. As we look ahead, February's forecast, and the fate of Europe's winter, hinges on what happens next in the stratosphere. The coming weeks will reveal whether the Arctic intruder retreats, or if even more dramatic weather is on the horizon. What does a collapsing polar vortex mean for Europe? In short, more cold, more snow, and a prolonged winter for the north and center. After a brief, milder spell in early February, the real cold is likely to return as Arctic air floods south. High pressure over the Arctic could lock in a persistent northerly wind, dragging Siberian cold across Europe, the infamous beast from the east. Temperatures could stay well below average, with renewed risks of snow and ice. Southern Europe may see milder, wetter weather, but the north faces weeks of deep winter. This isn't guaranteed, but models strongly suggest a long, severe cold spell ahead. Winter's toughest chapter may still be to come. Predicting the chaos of our atmosphere is one of the most complex challenges in science. Every day, supercomputers and advanced weather models work tirelessly behind the scenes, processing an unimaginable amount of information to help us make sense of the ever-changing skies. These machines are the backbone of modern meteorology, allowing us to peer into the future and anticipate what the weather might bring. Two of the most powerful models in use today are the ECMWF and GFS. These global models take in billions of data points every single day, from satellites, weather balloons, radar, and ground stations all over the world. They use this data to simulate the atmosphere, running complex equations that try to capture the swirling, chaotic nature of weather systems. But even with all this computing power, no single model can perfectly predict the future. That's why meteorologists use a technique called ensemble forecasting. Instead of relying on just one run, they run the models dozens, sometimes hundreds of times, each with slightly different starting conditions. This helps them see a range of possible outcomes and spot which scenarios are most likely. When most of these model runs start to agree, meteorologists gain confidence in the forecast. But when the models diverge, it's a sign that uncertainty is high, and forecasters need to dig deeper to understand what might happen. In recent years, artificial intelligence has become a game-changer in weather prediction. AI can sift through mountains of data, spotting subtle patterns and relationships that even the best human experts might miss. By learning from past weather events, AI helps improve the accuracy of models, especially when it comes to rare or complex phenomena. This is especially crucial for events like sudden stratospheric warmings or polar vortex collapses, where traditional models often struggle. AI can help identify early warning signs and refine predictions, giving us more time to prepare. With AI's ability to process vast amounts of data in seconds, forecasters can now communicate risks and uncertainties more clearly to the public. This means better warnings, more accurate forecasts, and ultimately, safer communities. Still, human expertise remains absolutely vital. Meteorologists interpret the data, understand local quirks, like how a mountain range might channel winds or how a city's heat can affect storms, and provide the context that computers can't. It's this powerful blend of cutting-edge technology and seasoned human experience that delivers the most reliable forecasts. Meteorologists and AI work hand in hand, each making the other stronger. Thanks to these incredible tools and the experts who wield them, we're better equipped than ever to prepare for wild, unpredictable weather, just like what we're seeing today. With severe weather here and more cold likely, practical steps are essential. Stay informed, follow official weather warnings, and check travel updates before leaving home. Prepare for power cuts, keep torches, batteries, blankets, and a charged phone handy. Check on elderly or vulnerable neighbors. A quick visit can make a big difference. Dress in layers, keep your main living space warm, and eat hot meals to maintain body heat. Make sure your vehicle is winter ready, with de-icer, antifreeze, and good tires. Be patient with delays and disruptions. This winter may last longer than usual. A little preparation now means a safer, warmer season for everyone.